Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Realtor Nation podcast, episode 8. My name is Ian-Hoover, and I am the host of this podcast, and I'm very excited to bring to you the Realtor Nation, a show to help you improve your business. My goal is to bring you some of the most successful agents in the business and ask them the questions that everybody wants to know. 87% of real estate professionals fail. It's time to change that. The agents I'm interviewing have not only succeeded, but they're truly some of the most talented agents in our business. Also, Realtor Nation, we're looking for more agents to interview. If you're interested, please email your resume to ian@ian-hoover.com. Today I'm with Pittsburgh transaction queen Libby Sosinski-Souilliard. Before we get started, I'd like to talk about her impressive resume. Libby has been licensed since 2004, has sold over 2,500 properties, and last year she had 293 sides, not including her off-market deals. Wow! Without further ado, I'd like to bring in Libby. Welcome, Libby.
Thank you.
So let's start by talking about how you decided to get into real estate.
Well, I was working for L'Oreal. I was a cosmetic rep. I had a territory, and I got promoted to the district manager. And I won Sales Rep of the Year. I was flown to California, all this great stuff. And then when I went to get the award, I was told on the side that HR didn't approve the position. So I thought, well, I had a girlfriend who would always call me about properties. I don't know why. She used to always say, well, I just feel like you would know. Like she called me, I saw this house for sale. Do you know anything about it? I'd look it up on Realtor.com. And then I'd call her and tell her about it. And I thought, well, Debbie always felt like I should be an agent. So I thought, I'll go get my license. So that's how it was more out of spite than I was angry because I didn't get my promotion. So I got my real estate license instead.
Wow. I mean, that's a cool reason to get into the business. My friend thought I should do it, so I did it.
Yeah, kind of.
So your first year, you had a pretty amazing first year. I mean, that's one thing. First-year agents tend to struggle. What did you do differently than the average first-year agent?
Well, I have a two-sided story. I started with another company, primarily because my daughter's name was in that company's name, and I thought, oh, this is great. And they were very non-supportive, and I was there for 3 months, and I was actually getting ready to put my license in referral. I thought, I can't do this. I don't know what I was thinking. Why did I get involved in this business? And then my brother and sister-in-law wanted to look for a house, and they asked me to show them some properties, and it was just right before I was getting ready to put the license in escrow. So I went out and showed them some houses, and the listing agent for one of them was from Keller Williams, David Effelman. So I called David and I said, I don't like the office I work at, but I have an offer for you, but if I have to write it up, I'm going to be really bummed out because I'm getting ready to leave this place. I don't like them there. And I said, so can I just give you the offer, and then if it does follow through, I'll get you the contracts in 5 minutes, I promise. So he let me present it verbally. He was really, really decent with me. So we didn't get the property, but about a week or two later, David called me and asked me to be his assistant. He said he thought I'd do really good in this business. So I thought, well, I can go do that, and I can get paid back for what I put into the classes, which was, $300-400. I thought, if I make $300 or $400, then it's a wash, and I did okay. And somehow it worked out much better for me when I was with Keller Williams. So that's how I started. I was an assistant, and I was his buyer's agent.
Okay. So you started off as his buyer's agent, and then you kind of built up your business, and your bread and butter is listing and selling real estate owned, aka foreclosures. How did you get into the business, and why did you get into that portion of the business?
Well, actually, that's what David was selling at the time, was foreclosures. When I got my license, I wanted to go out and buy suits. I wanted to look classy, and I wanted to put on the real estate look. And then I started working with David, and I realized I liked this end of the business. It's a different ballgame. It's a specialty. But it worked for me. It was easier for me to understand. I comprehended what was going on. So I stayed in it. I stayed in the foreclosure end of it, and it just took off from there. I started with one company, Chase Home Finance was my primary company that I was listing for. And then I made a mistake. I didn't turn in hand money on time on a property, and they made me pay that hand money back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My aunt died. So I had a valid excuse, but they didn't care, obviously. You know, when you don't do your job, you don't do your job. You can't have personal issues. So we paid the money back, and I started looking for some other banks because they said they weren't going to send me listings anymore. That was short-lived. They realized their numbers dropped. So, because I was doing a lot of their business for them. So They gave me my listings back, and then and by then I had put my name out to some of the other banks I was applying. So then they started calling too. So that's where I kind of started branching out and picking up some more clients. And a lot of them have called me. They must have talked to other asset managers or whatever and contacted me via, not me even trying.
So it sounds like just like any side of the business, it's a relationship business.
It is.
You got to have that relationship with the banks and build that trust and rapport, and that's allowed you to build such a successful business.
I do my best to be as trustworthy as I can.
Wow, I like that. Now, would you recommend that side of the business to just any regular agent?
Well, most of them that try to get involved hate it.
I've heard that from quite a few of them.
Yeah, it's again, it's something that you have to do it in bulk. It's not something you can dabble in. So either you're gung-ho foreclosures or you're gung-ho not foreclosures. But you're not going to be like, I'll take a couple listings, because chances are you're going to spend more money on them than you are going to make.
Right, because you have like systems in place probably.
Yes.
I'm assuming you have contractors that are installing the lock boxes and taking photos for you, because there's no way you're driving all over.
Oh yeah, I'm driving all of them. No, I have a field guy, one field guy actually that handles it all. Okay. And my husband helps too.
Your husband helps too. He's your backbone.
Yes, when we're too busy or something, and if I need weekly pictures or whatever, he'll run out and help me too. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, it's all system, I'd say.
Okay, great. So, what's your favorite thing about our business?
Everything. I couldn't imagine not doing this. I couldn't imagine not doing. Now that I've done it, and now that I'm doing it, I just couldn't. I could never stop. I think it gets in your blood.
It does, yeah.
I mean, yeah, and even when I see a listing hit the market, like I'll be working on something on my computer, and I'll see a ML Exchange email come in for one of my clients, and I see it, and I stop everything, and I go and I look at all the interior photos, and I mean, and I love the architecture, and I just love everything about it. It's I think that for all of us, you either get it or you don't. You get real estate and you love it, or you don't and you hate it. I don't think there's a happy medium for anybody. I really don't.
Yeah, it's got to be your passion.
And it's mine. It's definitely my passion. No question about it.
Well, you got to have something you don't like about our business. So what's your least favorite thing about the business?
Well, for me, it would probably be tasking. But that's not something that most everyone else is familiar with. But I have, with all my banks, I have different websites. I have about 8 different websites that I work on a daily basis.
Like Equator and...
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and ResNet and REO Central and 54 Asset Management has one, and Pyramid Platform. And all of my websites have tasks for different properties depending on who's assigned it to me and what platform they're working on. So I have to have a task list prepared for me every day, and I have an assistant that does that for me and basically highlights them for me. So if it's in pink, I know it. I had it in red, but it was too stressful. So we changed it to a light pink. It's nice, so I know, okay, pink is due today. If it's blue, it's late, and I don't want to see blue on my task list. Yellow means it's due tomorrow, and then green, means I have a couple days to work on it. And if it's white on the task list, then I can look at that later. So it's a high tasking job, the foreclosure end of it.
Yeah, I would not. That would not be my strong suit. I'm more of I want to be out in the field and showing properties thing. Paperwork is not my strong suit. So.
No, the paperwork is not fun.
So from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, what does a typical day look like in the life of Libby?
Well, if I can admit it, I'm in my robe half the day. I have every intention of taking a shower when I get up, and then I go check my emails, and it's over. It's over. I have to start dealing with stuff, and then the phone's ringing, and and everybody needs codes, and the text messages, they're crazy. Which is great, though. I can get back to them real quick. But, I'll wake up to 30, 40 text messages of people who want codes or, the sky is falling or whatever's happening. So, by the time it's 2 o'clock, I'm still in my robe. So, and as embarrassing as that may be, I have tried to maybe focus on just getting dressed before I check my email so that I'm at least not in my robe. But it gets consuming. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's very time consuming. Like you think, okay, I'll deal with this, and this, and then I can go take care of myself. And you can't. Taking care of yourself is not an option in this business. Not an option at all.
I try and get to the gym, and I fail on that most days of the week. So.
I would fail on that even if I wasn't in this business.
So why do you think 87% of agents fail?
Attitude.
Attitude, okay.
Yeah, just like why do people fail in life? It's the same thing. It's attitude. If you do this with the attitude that you like it, which probably you may not be able to make that attitude, but you can still make the best of every situation. Considering this is a self-chosen profession, you would think that they would make the best of it. But there's so many people that no matter what is going on, it's just, this is bad, that's bad, the other thing's bad. And that's going to affect everything. That's across the board. That's not even just this business. That's everything. So, if they go into it and they think, I'm going to do well, and I'm going to like what I do, and I'm going to focus on the positive stuff about what I do. Like, for instance, I don't want to do a task list every day, but what I say to myself is, thank God I have all these tasks to do. I'm really glad. I am a very lucky person that I have all these tasks to do, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be very busy. Yeah, exactly. So if you look at it as, yay, this is what I get to do today, then it makes everything better, and you're going to succeed.
It's funny you say that. I had a day 2 weeks ago where I counted. I had 68 incoming phone calls for the day. And then I remembered the first year in real estate where I couldn't wait for my phone to ring. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess I should be thankful that,
It's a beautiful thing. It is. And so when it starts to overwhelm me, and trust me, I do get overwhelmed at times, I have to remind myself, if you could be sitting here doing nothing, and that is the worst. Because then you got your own thoughts to deal with, and that's not fun.
Okay, so if you were to start over again today, you were a brand new agent just getting licensed, knowing how the market has changed and the business has changed with technology, what would you do to start your new business?
Probably look for a mentor. Look for somebody to help me and learn from them. Somebody who was successful that I felt, maybe even training. I'll have to be honest, I've never done any training at all, which may be a problem for me now. Really, because I'm trained on the job training. I learn better if I do. But maybe do some training and networking. Networking is probably the most important thing at all, because it's all in who you know.
Absolutely. I think that's probably the best answer I've gotten to that question so far, because my career was in shambles until I ran into my mentor, who's now my partner, and it really, showing me the way helped me out more than anything. So.
And you being willing to listen to it helps too.
That's true. Yeah, you got to take a back seat and say, "Hey, he knows what he's doing. Exactly. He or she knows what they're doing. I got to listen."
Exactly.
I am really interested to hear the answer to this. How many hours a week does it take to sell 293 sides plus off-market transactions?
A lot. Most of them. Actually, I'm very, very, very proud of myself, because I'd say about this time, 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, my day was getting up at 9, working until 4 a.m. And that's not a lie. Every day. Monday through Sunday. And that went on for about a year. And I think at that point I realized I need to start setting some stuff out. Some of this stuff can be done by somebody else. And so that's when I hired a full-time assistant that worked next to me and really helped. So now it's a lot more manageable. And believe it or not, if I focus hard enough, I can take the weekends to myself, which I try to. I'll go show a house here or there, but there's no hours and hours and hours of working on the weekends anymore. My banks are closed. I'm available for my regular listings. I'm available for all agents. I'll answer questions for codes. I'll talk to them if they need to. But for the most part, I try to take my weekends, and I try to stop working by 9 o'clock at the latest. 7's the goal. 9's normally when I stop. But the goal is 7. So 9 to 7, is the ideal.
Trying to get a little more of that work-life balance in there.
Exactly. And I'm doing well with it. It's funny. I read an article the other day about how to be a successful person. And it said, in order to be a successful person, you can't watch TV. And I thought, that's really, really awful, because it took me years to teach myself to watch TV, and I'm so proud of myself now that I can stop working at 9 o'clock and I can sit down and watch TV. Yeah. And that for me is a huge deal, and they're telling me that means I'm not successful. I'm like, wait, this is wrong. Yeah, this is wrong.
To me, it's like that's one of the best parts. Is I got most of my stuff accomplished. I get to cuddle up with my wife and watch a quick show together. It's like that's my end of my day almost.
Yeah, I haven't watched TV in years. This is new for me. It's I'd say about 2 years, maybe. About 2 years that I've started watching TV.
Well, off air, I can catch you up on some shows you probably missed over the last 14 years.
I missed a lot. I missed quite a few. My husband and I have just finished watching Friends. We watched Friends front to back.
I love Friends.
We loved it. So, and it was nice because we could just, whenever I had time, we could sit down and watch a few episodes. So it was nice.
That's great. So I know you don't do it alone. You've already kind of talked a little bit about you have a field person, and tell us about your team and how your team is structured.
I'm the only agent, and then my daughter is my administrative assistant.
Okay.
She's also getting licensed. She's this close, so she will have her license probably in the next couple weeks, and I may lose her as an administrative assistant at that point, but that remains to be seen. I'm not sure. She'll probably stay on for a while until she develops a clientele. And then I have a girl that does my Facebook and my website. Which, by the way, we can have IDX now. Did you know that?
I saw that.
Yes, I know. So I don't know how much time she'll be spending on that. But she's been, she turns on my utilities, turns off my utilities. If I have to have inspections ordered for a property, she gets that done. So she's kind of handling some of the more challenging things that aren't task-oriented, but yet I have a task that I have to, get done to get it completed. And then she handles all my internet stuff. So, and then my husband does all of our bill paying because it's extensive. I mean, it's extensive. Like the bank wants, okay, here's a bill that was incurred before we owned the property, but now you need to pay for it and then beg for your money back, which is always fun.
Oh, yeah.
So,
great.
That needs to be paid, and that has a system that has to go through. And then Ronnie is my field guy, and he runs around and grabs the pictures and does the rekeys, and if there's a property condition problem or something, he'll go check on it and make sure. A lot of agents will call and say, I can't get in the house, the door's broken, and he'll run out immediately to check it, and if everything's fine. That's pretty much what his job consists of. There's no lockbox, it's on the back door.
Yeah, you got to find somewhere to hang it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So our industry's changing. It seems like day to day. What do you think our industry will look like in the next 10 years?
Well, I like what's happening in Pittsburgh right now. And I like the market. I'm hoping we're not going to be hitting a bubble. Of course, I can't predict that, but I'm concerned.
Seems like we're getting there.
Yeah, I'm concerned about it. And if that's the case, I'll be really busy in 10 years. So it's hard to predict. Our market's always been so stable. And, we really haven't had the ups and downs that the rest of the country has. But it does seem like it's approaching. So I can't predict that one at all. I wish I could. I couldn't have predicted where we were now 10 years ago. I've had a few areas I called, but for the most part, I couldn't even predict how it's going to be in 10 years. Probably even more technology oriented, that's for sure.
I'm sure that's where we're going. I hear things every day. I've been reading a lot of different blogs and stuff, and some of the companies are coming out. I heard there's going to be like almost an Uber for real estate agents, where you just press a button on your phone, say I want to look at this house, and then it finds which agents are close and sends them to the property to show it. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
I know. I mean, hopefully, I'm going to say this, that even though there are other ways of disposition, we still are needed. So I have a bank that's selling a property through auction.com right now. Oh, our favorite. I hate them.
You and me both.
Yeah, they're very difficult to work with, and they don't quite understand our market. And see, that's the thing. I mean, we have to indirectly thank all these townships for making us so useful.
Right.
Die test occupancies, all of a sudden, we're needed because nobody knows how to handle that. So that's exactly what happened. Is there's an auction.com property that's being sold, and there's no buyer's agent, and the only listing agent is auction.com. So they had to contact me to help them with it. So, I'm still needed there. So, there are things, believe it or not, we're going to be needed, especially with title issues and everything else, and emotional issues.
Emotional is probably the number one.
Yes, our unlicensed therapist part of the position. So, yeah, so I think, no matter what, I think we're still going to have a job. Maybe not the same way that it is now. It might be formed differently, but we will be needed.
That's good. I hope that's the case. I'm really concerned that there's companies out there trying to eliminate our position.
They're trying to, but that doesn't mean they'll be able to. I mean, you and I both know that when a buyer's upset, a company's not going to be able to calm them down. Yeah. An agent's upset, or a different part of the transaction's not going correctly, a computer's not going to be able to fix that. So, maybe we're going to be the not the norm, the special end of it, but, we'll be the hands-on realtors. Contact us. Well, we can help you with the technology and get your deal closed for you. Maybe we'll have to represent as transaction licensees.
That's probably going to be more of a big thing coming, I think. So this is an interesting question for you, because I recently found out you don't do electronic signatures. What's your thoughts on technology and how it's affecting our business?
I think I need to get a little bit more on with technology, yes. Up until about a year ago, most of my banks didn't accept digital signatures. Therefore, I had no need to learn how to use them. Now, I am working with more buyers, and then they say, well, can I digitally sign? They're getting sick and tired of signing addendums, taking pictures of them, and texting them to me. But nonetheless, we're making it work. But yeah, there's obviously, on my end, I'm lacking some of the digital training that I should probably have. And I think everybody is. Okay. Although I'm not as bad as some of the ones that say, what's your fax number? I mean, I still have a fax because you do have people that want townships primarily. But there are some agents that will still fax to you.
Yep, I know a few of them.
Yeah, so, so I don't feel as bad as I could feel, but obviously I know that is actually something that I've been meaning to work on.
We all have something we can improve on, that's for sure.
I've been a little busy selling houses.
Yeah. Oh, you got that down.
Somehow, some way.
How important is goal setting to you?
I wouldn't say to you that I've ever sat down and written out my goals. But my goal is always to do better than I did before. To always do it to the best ability that I can. That would be my goal. So, I'm not one on setting goals. I had one goal one time in my entire career. Well, twice. When I first started, I said to myself, if I work really hard for the first 2 years and give it everything I have, then I won't have to work so hard after that. I was wrong, but that was my goal, and I thought that if I did everything I could, including showing houses on Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, which I did for the first year, for second year even, that I wouldn't be as busy, but I was. And then my other goal was to, because I kept getting second place with Keller Williams nationally, it's like, I gotta hit first. So I finally did that. That was probably my biggest goal. I'm sick and tired of being number 2.
Number 1 in transactions, right?
Number 1 for 2016, and then last year I was number 2 again.
Same person that you're battling with?
Actually, yeah. Last year was, he ended up doing 380 transactions, although he's a team. He's technically a team. He and his wife are both licensed.
That's unfair advantage.
Yeah, it is. But, I can't complain. I mean, I'm still one of the top 5 agents in Keller Williams. I feel embarrassed. Like, oh, God, I dropped down. That's a really bad thing. And you know how important it is to... But, I have to look at the big picture. it's still a pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So I'll appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But it's kind, for me, it's hard because if I don't do as well as I did the year before, I feel like a failure. So that's why I have to say that my goals are probably unwritten and personal, but I just want to do better than I did before.
Well, I gave you your new tagline. You can start using the transaction queen. So.
I call myself the shit queen. Am I allowed to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think there's any kids listening.
I am the shit queen of Pittsburgh. That's what I refer to myself as.
I love it. I think you already talked about them a little bit, but who was your mentor and how did they help you?
David Uffelman. He was the one that told me he thought I could do this business when I was actually ready to say I can't. Maybe his belief in me helped me to feel more confident in doing it. And you do need to be confident no matter what. So I'd say, yeah, that he was at least for my self-esteem, he was a big support system for me. Debbie Gallo was my broker in my office. She's not with us anymore, but she was a huge support for me. And I actually had a problem the other day, and I reached out to her, and she helped me. So yeah, she was wonderful. Cindy, I can't say enough good things about Cindy.
Cindy's amazing.
Oh, I love Cindy. I absolutely, and she always has my back. She will catch me anytime I fall, even if I was wrong. And I will say to her, I made a mistake, and she goes, all right, well then let's fix it. So then we work on fixing it. So yeah, those are the people that
couple
have been
really strong mentors there.
Yeah, they've been all of them have been awesome.
So I'm going to go a little outside of the box here because it's not every day we have a significant other in the room. So, my wife is my backbone. She supports me. She's, she lets me work those long hours and takes care of the kids and does all those things. What can you say about, how maybe you're proud of Libby and what she's accomplished any feedback you have from what you've heard from today, I'd be happy to hear that. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are. No, I'm very proud of her. Whenever she had something to do, it was like, okay, do your thing, make this work, and I'll pick up the slack elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Very supportive of me. And he'll drive me wherever so I can work. So, like I have an appointment to get to. He drives me to it. I'm on my phone. I'm answering. I'm doing all that. So, yeah, he's been a huge support.
You're working in the car.
Oh, I am. It's awesome.
We were going out, 8-9 years ago when you were in the middle of where you're just getting successful, but not really to the point where you got to. We were driving around 10 o'clock at night doing occupancies. Okay, lights on. There's probably somebody in there.
Yeah, we did. It was fun.
And then I was
really
going around
fun.
the next day.
Because we have 24 hours to get an occupancy inspection. And I remember that day. We got 16 listings assigned to us in one day. And so it was like, okay, what are we going to do? And you know what? I said, all right, he ran one way, I ran another way, and somebody else. We had 3 of us out checking the occupancies of the properties, and we didn't finish them all. So he and I hopped in the car, we grabbed dinner, hopped in the car, went around and finished the rest of them. So we at least knew if they were occupied or not, so we could turn it in. So it was on time.
Wow.
So it was fun. We had a blast. It was really neat.
So I think I'm already going to know the answer to this question because I interviewed another very powerful woman in Keller Williams, and I think it's going to be along the same lines. What does retirement look like for you?
You know how I said to you that I couldn't imagine not doing this? I can't imagine retiring. I would go crazy. I need to be busy all the time. I need to have something going on. I mean, I enjoy the watching TV thing, but that only holds my attention for so long, So I couldn't imagine. I mean, I know at some point I'll probably have to plan retiring. I'm going to assume that it will evolve around being sick and not being able to work versus being retired.
Yep, that's kind of what I expected. I kind of expected you were, just from their conversation, that you're not going to get to that point. And I think I'm probably the same way. Maybe I'll adjust how I work, but I don't think I'm ever going to hang it up. So, last question before we go into the blitz round. And I failed on this question a couple of times. We've had to edit it out. So I hope it works for you. And if anybody has this question down, it's probably you. Tell us one of the funniest stories of your career.
I got one.
Yeah.
Actually, I have 2. Can I share 2?
Sure,
okay.
2.
So the first one is when I had first started. And I was assigned a listing from Chase. And I went to the property and it was occupied. So I left my posting and spoke to the guy. Hi, I'm Libby from Keller Williams. You've been foreclosed on. What are your plans? Ain't been foreclosed on. He knew everything. So it proceeded with several months of me leaving postings, knocking on the door, asking him to leave. So finally, the sheriff called the eviction date, and they get the 30-day notice for the eviction. We go and we do our checkup on it to see, we find it vacant. So we leave a 24-hour notice. Back then we could do that. 24 hours. We're rekeying in 24 hours whether you like it or not. Put that on there. Nobody called us, so we knew it was vacant. So we went ahead and rekeyed, and we went in, and the walls were all painted with spray paint, red spray paint. Keller Williams must die.
Oh, wow.
All over all the walls. And that was funny. I mean, I actually found that. I probably should have been scared, but I just thought it was funny.
Well, maybe back then it was a little different. Today is...
Yeah, and that's it. It was 10 years ago, but it was just funny. He was so mad at me, like it was my fault he didn't make his mortgage payment. It was my fault that he had to move, and therefore he left me a personal message. But the other one, and actually this might explain the need for us, because computer and technology is not always the best thing, and this story will explain that. So this happened last week. There is a website called offersubmission.com.
Mm-hmm. Familiar?
And most agents probably are, where the agent goes in and presents the offer for their buyer, and therefore I am not needed. So, although they still email me, are you going to respond? No. I don't even handle the offers on this one. So, we had a buyer put an offer in, and then a couple days later, another buyer put an offer in. 2 different agents. Highest and best. So, we accepted one of the offers. The agent that was accepted had a hard time getting the contract package back in time correctly. It wasn't done correctly, so we had to cancel that offer out. So, then it went back active on the market, and again, multiple offers. Mind you, this property's in New Kensington.
Okay.
Multiple offers again. And we go highest and best. And they do the highest and best. There's 3 agents involved. And we accept an offer. Well, all of a sudden, my asset manager emails me and said, why is the buyer the same on the offer that I rejected as on the offer that I'm accepting? And I said, I don't know. So I go into the system and I look, and there are 3 different agents battling over this property with the same buyer who went highest and best and ended up paying full asking price for that property.
So he bidded himself up. She
bid herself up. She was so worried about not getting this property and did not understand the loyalties of having a buyer's agent. And therefore, she had her offer presented from 3 different agents, but she was the same person. And she bid herself up to the full asking price of the property.
You ever watch those shows like The Dumbest Criminals? There should probably be a show like The Dumbest Real Estate Buyers. I don't know. I mean, that's mind-blowing to me.
And if that doesn't show you how, technology might be great, but there's still a need for us. Because you and I both know that had we had those offers in hand, we would have seen the issue, and we would have contacted both of the agents and said, your buyer's already presented an offer with another agent, or, you just sent an offer over and this buyer's already in with a different, you need to figure out what's going on. It would never have gotten to that point of highest and best. Unless, now I have had like 25, 30 offers on a property.
And you miss it, yeah.
Well, sometimes, there's no way you're going to be able to keep track of all this in your head.
Yeah.
And I will say, these are the agents that will fax and email the offer to me. Or they'll send it email, and then they'll send it again, and they'll send it again. And I email them back, or call them, or text them, or whatever, and say, you're going to compete against yourself if you're not careful. I can't be held responsible for you submitting this offer 15 times. Text me and ask me if I got it. Don't keep resending it.
Right.
So, because that can happen,
Absolutely.
But yeah, that did happen. So technology is only as good as the people who are using it.
Oh, wow. That's one I have not heard before.
Me either. That was the first for me last week, too. But I did laugh all day long. I just thought, this is the funniest thing I have ever seen in my career. I just thought it was hysterical, and it also made me feel good because it's like, you do need us.
There you go.
You do need us.
You just made up for a couple where I didn't get some funny stories, so that's great. We're about out of time, so we're going to go into the blitz round. The same 5 questions I asked to everybody, and it's hopefully just a real quick answer for you. What is your favorite technology tool?
The internet.
The internet. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think I could sell 293 properties a year if I was driving around to get signed contracts like they did in the olden days.
Yeah, and if we can get you going on electronic signatures, you'll go even quicker,
Oh
right?
my, yes, I'm looking forward to that. We'll have to double my business then.
There you go. What's your favorite real estate book? Or do you not read real estate books? You might not have time to read.
I really don't. I wish I had an answer for that, but I don't. I mean, I have a stack of them. I have a lot of Gary Keller books.
Yeah, Gary Keller
because they're always
writes
given
some
to
of the
me.
best.
Yes,
yeah.
and I've heard that. And regretfully, I have not taken the time to read them. So, no, I don't really have a favorite real estate book.
Well, you're successful despite that.
Despite it, yes.
You're good there. If you were not an agent, what would you be?
I would probably operate a consignment store.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually, I was selling on eBay. That's how I met my husband. I got him at the auction. Yeah, we used to sell on eBay. And I loved it. Oh my God, I would buy something for $25, put it on eBay and sell it for $50. And that was like the most exciting, kind of like what I'm doing with real estate. If you think about it,
absolutely.
I'm buying, or not buying, but I'm selling properties that are worth $25. And selling it to people for $5, and they're turning around and selling it for $100,000. You know, so it's kind of the same thing. And so yeah, I like to find things for people, match them up with what they're looking for. So indirectly, I was doing this with smaller price items before.
Wow. Okay, that's a new one. I really like that, and at least you have an idea of what you do if our industry blows up. Right?
Yes. Yeah. Sell on eBay again.
What's your favorite hobby?
Hobby. Selling real estate? Does that count? Can this be a hobby too?
I guess it can be. I guess it can be. You do it enough, you can have it as your work and your hobby, right?
I mean, I help. I rescue animals too.
Oh yeah, that's important.
I mean, I don't want to say that like I'm running out at 3:00 in the morning or whatever, but we tend to, like, if an animal's in need, we'll help. We have a lot of failed fosters. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, my watching TV, that's a new thing for me. Maybe that, which is probably a really stupid hobby for somebody,
stupid,
but I'm very proud of myself for getting the ability to actually sit down, zone out, and watch TV for half an hour straight.
And I'm sure your husband loves that too.
Yes.
He gets a little alone time with you.
He holds my feet.
Okay, so I'm sure you do take vacations. What's your dream vacation?
I do not take vacations.
You don't take vacations?
No, I do not. Although, in Thanksgiving of this year, we have our very first vacation planned. Well, all right, I take a weekend every year. Every year I take a weekend for the past 18 years. Mm-hmm. We have twins, identical twin boys, who are now 21. And every year since they've been 4, we go to the Twinsburg Festival in Twinsburg, Ohio, which is about an hour and 45 minutes from here. That was what my vacationing consisted of. And actually, when the boys were 16, I said, oh, we're not going to go to Twinsburg this year. And they, what? What do you mean? So whether I realized it or not, it became a family tradition. So we do that. So I have a weekend every year. But we do have our very first vacation planned ever. For Thanksgiving this year. It's going to be 4 days. 4 whole days. And we're going to go to Disney World with our oldest daughter.
Wow.
So that would actually be...
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, any vacation's a dream vacation because I don't really take them. I mean, you know, how can I?
Right.
Who's going to cover my business for me? So what's the point of trying to even pretend that I'm going to go somewhere and take time for myself? I'm not set up that way. You know, I do most everything myself. Believe it or not, I do most everything myself. It could be a control thing, or I want to make sure it's done right thing, or whatever. But if I'm doing a report, you know, my daughter, my assistant, enters in the information that I pulled, but then I finalize everything. So yeah, there's really no way for me to kind of turn my back on this and say, could you imagine like if I had a fire or something, and who's going to handle that? So yeah, no, my vacations are sitting and watching TV at night.
There you go.
Taking some time with my family over the weekend, and I'm thrilled for that.
Well, Libby, you are truly amazing. I have to say that. I'm so glad that you took the time out of your day to come and spend it with me. And I've learned a lot, and I hope everybody else does too, and I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Well, Realtor Nation, another great interview in the books. I hope you learned as much as I did. Libby is an amazing woman, and I'll tell you what, she really makes me want to step my game up. For all other content, please visit our website, dhrea.com/learn. Until next time, this is Ian Hoover with the Deacon-Hoover Radio Network signing off.